Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here,
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah, welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Sports. We are glad to be back on the airwaves after a long hiatus for this New Year's break. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
And all of that is true. And the man on the other microphone, he is the greatest patriot I have ever known. We know him as...
Yeah, it's your boy, Chris America, coming to you live this Monday, January 7th of the year of our Lord 2019. Loudbeard, I was getting high on ATIS this past winter break, and I am glad to be back.
Well, I'm glad that you were getting high on hiatus or high on ATIS. Don't know what that means, but we're going to roll with it. Man, it feels good to be back. I think it's just you and I. I don't hear Darth Vader breathing into the other microphone, so I think it's just you and I right now.
Aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
So our third guy, the man with the golden microphone, he does have a problem where this early in the morning, sometimes aliens take over his body. They do a quick probe. Occasionally, he'll jump in after his probe, give us some hot takes. But we can't make any promises, can we, Chris America?
He'll probe us with some hot takes.
Oh, boy, yeah, he's quite the probing kind. So how have you been? It's been 2 weeks. We've been off for 2 weeks. We're back and we're ready. Go for it.
I forgot what you sounded like, man. I didn't even know
seriously.
who you were when you first came on. I was like, is this Loudbeard? He sounds more like a man. Did you become more of a man over the winter break?
I'm the same Loudbeard that I have always been, Chris America. I will always be the same Loudbeard, and I've always been the same Loudbeard, even if it is 2019 Loudbeard.
Well, you went on a winter cruise. How was that?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I mean, in the Caribbean, there's never a winter. It's always sunny and hot and warm and fun, and it doesn't matter. The cruise was nice.
Yeah, here in Florida, we have to dress for fall and then also bring clothes to work for summer.
Yes. This is all true. You know, we really don't have quite the fall, the winter, any of that stuff.
Well, we
it's
just
really
get both
just summer.
Fall and summer in both days. Like,
Yes.
we get 50s in the morning, and then by 11 o'clock, it'll be 77 degrees.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, we sort of had kind of a wintry playoffs start off, kind of all defense. You thought there'd be a lot of scoring because I think Chicago was the only game played. No, Baltimore was kind of cool weather, right? But you had a game in Dallas, and what was the other? I always get the games mixed up. What was the other Saturday day game? Oh, it was the Indianapolis-Houston. So 2 games played in a dome, low-scoring defensive games.
Yeah, out of the games this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday with the wild card, the highest scoring game was the Dallas-Seattle game, which was 24-22. So the highest amount of points scored this weekend was by the Dallas Cowboys, that explosive offense that we know as Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, he ran all over that Seattle defense.
And don't forget Amari Cooper, our guy. We were wrong, Loudbeard. We got to take idiot sandwiches on this. I know we've taken them before, but each round that the Cowboys make through the playoffs, we got to eat another idiot sandwich. I think the trade paid off officially when they won that playoff game.
Yes, I agree. And, you know, we were talking about how lowly the NFC East was earlier in the year when the Redskins in Week 9 were leading this division, and all of a sudden Dallas and Philly take the league by the horns, and they just decide to just run their way into the playoffs. And the NFC East looks like they have 2 possible Super Bowl contenders now, possibly the toughest division in the NFC now. Come on. Can you agree with me, even though you are a Panthers NFC South lover?
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 teams in. We had 1 team get in. The rest of our league kind of took a dump, man. It was really surprising to see Atlanta and Carolina take the dump that they did. And we trashed on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we even predicted they would do bad. But with the amount of talent that Tampa has, there's no reason for them to be doing it as bad as they did. And that's why Derek Cutter's no longer the head coach.
That's true. That's true. So let's get back. We'll go through these games. This Dallas-Seattle game, we'll start with that because there's no, I guess, I'm not a big Dallas fan, but I can appreciate what Dallas is doing on the field because we talked about defenses running the weekend. Dallas's defense, they did a number on Seattle, and they held when they needed to hold. And when you got a good running game with Ezekiel Elliott and a good defense, you win games, especially when it's playoff time. And they squeaked out a victory. It was close, 24-22, but it may not have been as close as the score indicates. I felt like Dallas had this one in hand. Seattle had to kind of do the last-minute desperate chance to try to get this one going. And when you don't have a kicker, their kicker goes out with a hammy, pulls a hammy. It wasn't good for Seattle, man. They just didn't have any opportunity here. Did you catch any of this game, Chris America?
Yeah, I did. I just was foibling to turn the mic back on.
Yeah,
it was.
You.
It was a
we're
solid
rusty.
game.
Can you tell that?
Did you
We're a
say
little
foibling?
rusty.
Whoa. Hold on. Who's that?
Why are you here?
Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm only here so I don't get fined. Sorry I'm late, guys. My kid stole my equipment again. God dang it, man.
Right, aliens.
Running around. Oh, and I heard that. I heard all of that, by the way. And when I see you, I'm going to 2019, I'm not taking any trash from you two. It's going down. For real. It's going to happen. Did I lose you guys again?
Do you guys hear? Do you guys hear him? Kyle, you hear him? Gets him every time.
Man, it's too early.
No, I think Kyle's gone. I think he just left. He heard you come on. He's like, oh, good, I can take a break.
Well, I thought he could run with it. I was trying to give him an opportunity to take it and run. And
I mean, he's the
tell us
biggest
all about his
Cowboys
anal
fan on
probes,
this.
but-
He's the biggest Cowboys fan on the show.
Man, that was a disappointing. I mean, besides Sebastian getting hurt my whole night, So I'm gonna continue to hate on them. I still don't think they have the juice.
All right, I think
I'm just throwing it out there, man.
Anthony's having. I'm not even playing around right now. I think Anthony's having, unless it's not only on my end. You keep cutting in and out. Kyle, are you getting that too?
Yeah, I'm getting that. It sounds like you're a robot. You sound like a robot right now, and I don't mean that in an insulting way because there's very intelligent robots out there. There's some robots that are smarter than us. I doubt
There's
it. But
lots of
could be.
robots that are smarter. than us.
Tinfoil hat.
Is that what
Throw
is your
your
tinfoil
tinfoil
hat
hat, my
creating interference to the studio and the reception and your Wi-Fi and all of that good stuff?
I don't have
All
right. So it's better. Yeah,
Mm,
it's molded.
there we go.
I have a
Okay.
very specific kind of head.
All right.
It
So
works
back
for
to
me. Sorry.
Okay.
If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
Okay. Yeah, sure, it works. So back to this Dallas-Seattle game. You talked about Sebastian Janikowski. He pulls the hammy, and they have the punter who has to do the kicking, and he can't kick a field goal, and he has the cool drop kick, and he has an opportunity for a late onside kick, and it was possibly the worst onside kick I had ever seen in my life, but he did it as a drop kick, which actually made it fun. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed just him drop kicking it, but it still was a garbage onside kick. So doesn't
thought the
give Seattle a
craziest-
chance.
I thought the craziest part of it all is they had to go for 2 the whole time.
Yeah.
They had to go for it on 4th down. It was almost like it reminded me of one of my favorite MMA fighters. Uriah Faber broke one of his hands, or I think he broke one or both of them. Anyways, he broke his hands, and he had to throw elbows to fight the rest of the fight. He made it all 5 rounds. Just anytime he wanted to punch, he had to throw an elbow to fight because his hands were broken. It kind of reminded me of that.
Oh, I'll have to YouTube that fight. See what that
I'll
was
see if
all
I
about.
can find that for you. It was a pretty
that'd be
fun fight to watch.
So that's what Seattle was doing. They were going for the 2-point conversion, which they were successful. They did a good job with that. But they were 2 points shy of taking out the Dallas Cowboys. I guess if they would have got a field goal at the end, an onside kick and then a field goal, they would have been able to take this game. But the onside kick, as I said, was absolutely awful. And, it was a fun game, but unfortunately our foes, the Dallas Cowboys, are going to be moving on into the next round of the playoffs. Congratulations, Dallas. They played a good game and deserved this win.
Yeah, you know who also didn't have fun with this game and the fact that Janikowski was out?
Who was this?
Degenerate gamblers who bet -2.5 on or -2.5 on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw a video this morning of a guy losing his mind because he's like, okay, they got the touchdown. They're going to kick the extra point. I guess he missed that Janikowski was out and they weren't kicking extra points the entire game. And they went for 2, and then he just lost his mind as the -2.5 went to the wayside. He lost all of his money. Don't gamble on games, kids, especially playoff games, man. Playoff games are just they're just too hard to predict.
They could go either way.
You're going to see 22-24 this week, and then next week you're going to have like a 21-point blowout at one end. There's going to be a blowout next week. I can just feel it.
Now, when you say blowouts,
I don't know, man. There's all good teams left.
They are all good teams.
There's always a blowout in the playoffs. I don't care where it comes from. Like when the Eagles and the Vikings played each other in the NFC Championship, did any of us see that big-time blowout coming from Nick Foles against the Vikings defense?
No, absolutely
exactly.
not. No. Now in this weekend, I would say that there was one blowout. I guess it's not a blowout per se, but Indianapolis dominated Houston. And
yeah, they did. And that was the best defense.
That was the blowout.
That was the closest to a blowout we had this weekend. And Houston had a late touchdown just to give them some points on the board. But Indianapolis' defense had their way with Houston. It was crazy to watch.
No, and I tweeted this out. I don't know what it is with the Houston football, whether it's the Oilers or the Texans, man. They just have the worst of luck. I remember being a kid watching the Oilers being up big against the Buffalo Bills and the Bills coming back. These last 3 times that the Texans have played the Super Bowl, I saw the stat on it. I want to say it was like something like 80-something to 30-something is like their overall score the last 3 playoff games that the Houston Texans have been in. They just have the worst of luck in the playoffs, the city of Houston.
And the defense...
Well, their
Deshaun Watson was just slow.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal was. And DeAndre Hopkins, their best offensive weapon, I guess he has some sort of injury in the first half. He plays through it, but you could tell it was affecting him. And they were kind of one-dimensional. They couldn't get anything going. Now, Watson can always make plays with his legs, and he had some yardage, but it wasn't enough. It seemed like Indianapolis' defense came to play. They held where they needed to hold, and Houston's defense in the first half looked very suspect. I don't know if they were nervous or if they weren't prepared or what, but there was something going on with Houston's defense in the first half. They buckled down in the second half, had a much better game in the second half. But, they highlight Jadeveon Clowney and they highlight J.J. Watt and all of these great players on this Houston defense. And the defense did not hold up in that first half. Andrew Luck had his way, and Marlon Mack, the running back for Indianapolis, he had his way with that defense. And I don't know, Indy was the way better team on Saturday. Way better.
I'm not going to say they were way better in the first half as far as their offense and the defense goes, but they're not a better team since the first. I mean, they didn't look like the Texans that have been playing the last 7. It's weird to see Deshaun Watson flustered. I mean, he was all He couldn't get a first down. He couldn't. Running game still don't have the juice. The Colts, like, they scored 21 points in the first half, nothing in the second half. And that's enough to get a win, but that's not enough to get you to the AFC Championship, which I just don't think they had it. I thought the Texans had this game. I had him. I was rooting for him. I was rooting for Deshaun, and it just didn't work out for him. I feel bad for the kid, man, because he's battled back from so much. So I think give it.
Sometimes you got to take your lumps in the playoffs, man, to grow, to become a better quarterback, to become a better leader, a better player. I'm hoping that's what Deshaun Watson gets out of this. I don't know if the Colts just kind of dialed it back because they're like, okay, we're up big. There's no need to go crazy and have them come back on an interception return for a touchdown or anything like that. Let's just kind of play conservative, wind the clock down. And they kind of did that, especially with Mac running so well. And man, you talked about the NFC East, Loudbeard, making a comeback. What about the Colts? Weren't they like 1-5 at one point in the season, and they finished the season at 10-6? Now they're 11-6 in their last few games, or the entire season, going on to the second round of the playoffs.
Oh man, the Colts have had such a great bounce back. You're right. They were 1-5, and coming down back from 1-5. At 1-5, we basically left them for dead. We were all saying that they were done, that Andrew Luck wasn't the same quarterback. And Andrew Luck, in the second half of the season, has showed us what an MVP quarterback looks like. No, I'm not going to say that he is going to be MVP over Patrick Mahomes. I think this is Mahomes' award to win. But I'm saying what he did in the second half is MVP worthy and should be in at least that discussion. And I'm impressed by what the Colts have done. And we've mentioned it on the show about defense and running game. They have had both of those. They've got Marlon Mack, who is a dynamic young running back who has had a phenomenal second half of the season. Their defense has stood up when it needed to stand up. And you are led by Andrew Luck, the captain. He is out there showing the Colts fans what they drafted. He's back to his form, what the potential was from the very beginning when he came out of Stanford. There were such high hopes. And this is what the Colts fans have been wanting, and this is what they've deserved. After a couple injury-plagued seasons with Andrew Luck, they finally get the man that they know that he can be, and he has been just lights out this second half of the season. And they're a fun team to watch. And you mentioned this on Twitter, Chris America, at Scout Team Radio on Twitter. You can always hit us up. If you have anything you want to say to the show, if you want to bring up a topic or talk to us, hit us up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. But Chris America, on Twitter, you had mentioned about Frank Reich, the coach of the Indianapolis Colts, had made a decision against the Houston Texans, I believe, to go for it instead of going for the tie. And he was basically crucified by the mainstream media. And you and I both said, you go for the win. This is a winning league. This isn't a go for a tie league. And sometimes you go for that win, and it did not work out for him then. But look where he is today. The man knows football. He's a winner, and his team rallied around him knowing he is there for them to win. He is there for them to win, and they like that.
Yeah, that was in week 4 against the Texans, and it was at home. They went for it. Everybody's like, oh, no, you got to play it safe. You got to play it safe. And that wasn't – I'm not going to say that was the exact turning point because they lost the next 2 weeks against the Patriots and Jets on the road. But I do think that was a message sent to the team. Like, hey, I'm the new coach, and I'm here for you guys. I'm not gonna punt and not put it on your backs. I trust in our defense to go for it on fourth down. And I trust in our offense to get it. Now, they didn't get it, and they lost. But at least the defense and offense knew that their coach had their back. And if you've ever played a sport – you know there's nothing more important than a coach that believes in you and trusts in you. So when a guy believes in you and you let him down, you come back and you play harder the next time around. If your coach doesn't believe in you and he punts, then you're not going to believe in him, and you're going to be like, why am I going to run through a wall for this guy if he doesn't even believe in me? And I honestly think that was a part of the piece. Like, I don't follow the Colts enough to know line by line how they came to be the team that they are today, but they went through some hard times through that first 6 weeks. Like I said, they went 1-5 to open up the season, and I think that was just a whole fast growing period, and heck of a job by this coach letting this team grow up fast under his system, and now they're going into the Chiefs kind of I feel like they might be the favorites if their defense can play like they did against the Texans, and you take in the fact that this past weekend the first time starting quarterbacks were 0-3. Now they're going to go against another first time starting, my boy Patrick Mahomes. I feel like the Colts have a lot of momentum coming into the Chiefs next weekend.
Oh, absolutely. This is great momentum for the Colts. And the playoffs are all about that hot team, right? Every year it seems like there's a team that emerges that just catches fire and just steamrolls through. And last year, obviously, it was the Philadelphia Eagles. They got hot at the right time. The Foles, the legend, the magic, the lure, all of that happened. Is it this year for the Colts? And right now, it's anybody's ball game. Yeah, the Patriots are still out there. They're always going to be a tough out. And there's no guarantees. The Chiefs, Mahomes, with the magical season that he's had and that offensive firepower that they have, yeah, the Colts aren't. It's no guarantees. But are the Colts that hot team, that team with the momentum, that team with that spark that can push their way through? And you said it, the first time starting quarterbacks, they had a rough go this weekend. And when you look back and you think, okay, some veteran leadership, Andrew Luck, he is that veteran leadership. He may be the right guy to do that. But the Chiefs are still a tough team, man. I don't know if I could put the Colts ahead of the Chiefs. That's a tough one. If I'm picking straight up, I don't know if I could go against the Chiefs. But the Colts, they would not surprise me if they go into Arrowhead and squeak out a win against Kansas City.
You know me. I'm a 100%, 110% true blue original president of the Patrick Mahomes fan club. I believe he's going to win. I believe he's going to be that quarterback that's getting his first time start to win. But I'm not going to sit there and say it's going to be easy. He has his work cut out for him. And if he is not on top of his game, if he plays like a second-year player, he's going to get beat.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, so we talked Indy, Houston. We talked Dallas, Seattle. I kind of want to save Philly, Chicago for our last talk because I think that was the best game of the weekend. So let's dive into this Chargers-Ravens game. 23-17. Chargers end up with a big victory. The veteran leadership of Phillip Rivers overcomes the young tenacity of Lamar Jackson. So, Chris America, what is your take on this game? I mean, we see the Chargers win, but the Ravens had some good fight in them.
Yeah, and I wish Golden Mike's microphone or internet connection was working well so we could get his take, because I know this is his favorite player right now in the league outside of anybody on the Packers is Lamar Jackson, and he just didn't have it, man. And that's not to say he's not going to have it down the road or that he's not the future of the Baltimore Ravens. I don't understand why they didn't put – well, I do understand why they put in Joe Flacco, but I think it's messed up, man. I think the NFL needs to look at the way that they do the salary cap, man. You're going to handcuff a team in the playoffs and cause the other 53 guys on the roster to lose their shot at the playoffs because the team wants to make a business decision for the future because they don't want to have Joe Flacco get hurt and then have to end up paying him whatever $20+ million they have to pay him if he's on the payroll injured in March or whatever that cutoff day is. I think that ruins football, man. I think that ruins the game a little bit, that you have to be married to a guy and you can't start him because you're afraid of having to pay him down the road. They got to do something to fix that because Flacco should have been put in the game. The other 53 guys on the roster, especially the players on defense, deserve to have a shot at winning that playoff game, and they weren't afforded to it because of salary cap rules. It's so frustrating.
It's frustrating, but the Ravens still could have put them in. They would just be taking a tremendous risk.
They'd be taking a huge risk, and business people make business decisions. They don't make game-winning decisions, and we the fans, we don't care about that. And them, the players, the especially, like I said, the guys on the defensive side, they don't care about that either, and we all deserve to see that happen, and I think the NFL can fix it by making some sort of rules where, like, maybe if you get injured in the playoffs, yes, you still have to pay that $20 million or whatever, but we won't count it against your salary cap. I don't know what the fix is, but there's people smarter than me to figure it out, and they can get it done to where you just put the best players on the field, so we have the best product on the field at all times. So when Lamar Jackson isn't the best product anymore, you can put out Joe Flacco, who may or may not be. I don't know. Joe Flacco could have come in, and it could have just been the Chargers defense was just playing lights out, and it didn't matter if you put Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes or Drew Brees back there. They were shutting them down. But we'll never know because all we saw was Lamar Jackson.
Now, you're saying it's all business decision. I absolutely think that there's a little bit of Lamar Jackson is the man of the future. This is a guy that you have to say, and by the way, I'm just going to go off the side here. Again, you can hit us up at Scout Team Radio on Twitter. Our good friend Memphis Spence just hit us up. He said, Ravens flock have been that close if they did put Flacco in. Flacco. I said Ravens flock and then Flacco. Joe Flacco.
Waka.
Flacco Waka Waka. All
Flacco's
right,
on
so
fleek.
Would they have been that close if they would have put Flacco? And I can't say that it would have been better or worse, but maybe they needed a little bit of a charge.
So the answer to that question, would Flacco have been able to run around for 20 yards, dodging people left and right, and throw up a prayer that completed it down into, like, what was it, the 15 or 10-yard line? No, Flacco would not have been able to make that play. But I don't know if Flacco, if he was put in coming out of the locker room, kind of like Tua was put in, would he been able to string together some drives and maybe bring them back into the game? Maybe allow the Colts, I'm looking at the computer with the Colts on my screen. Would he have allowed the Ravens defense some time to rest to where they didn't have to play lights out all game? Because they were playing lights out through 2.5 quarters, and I've seen it so many times with my Gators, man. Gators defense plays lights out, offense goes 3 and out a whole bunch of times. Your defense gets tired, and that's when they start giving up big plays, and that's what we saw with the Ravens defense, man. And that's why I say the defensive side of the football deserved a shot to win that playoff game, and they weren't given that.
Okay, so I see where you're going with that, but I'm going to go in a little bit different way with Lamar Jackson. Is if this is your guy of the future, are you really showing confidence in him being your quarterback of next year and the year after? Because it is a foregone conclusion that Joe Flacco will be gone. He will either be cut or traded this offseason. He will not be on this roster next season. And with that in mind, if Lamar Jackson is your guy of the future, do you think pulling him for Joe Flacco would do any good for the future of this team, or does that not matter because it's all about winning now?
It's all about winning now, man. You're not promised tomorrow in this league. And again, I have to worry about Lamar Jackson, but I have 52 other guys on this roster that are just as equally important, and they deserve a shot at the playoffs. Ask Dan Marino how many shots you get at a Super Bowl. Because I remember in '85 when they got blown out by the 49ers, all the announcers, everybody's like, don't worry about it. This kid's young. He's going to play in multiple Super Bowls. Never played in a Super Bowl again.
Pulling out the Dan Marino card,
pulling out the Dan Marino card, man. I'm coming in 2019
the whole bag
hot.
of tricks today. Pulling out the whole bag of tricks.
So you're basically telling all 52 guys, hey, man, we might not ever make it back to this point, but we got to hope that this guy can take us there, so we're going to continue to play with him. Listen, get this kid a sports psychiatrist if you need. Show him some more game film. Get him some more time. Tell him, look, it's nothing against you. You just had a bad day. I don't get why quarterbacks can't handle being pulled. Pitchers get pulled all the time. If, who was the pitcher, our boy from the Rays that played on the Red Sox, had so many bad games? David Price. So many bad games in the offseason. Every single time he had a bad game, if he's giving up 10 runs in the second inning, guess what happens to him? He gets yanked. Hey, we'll start you again next time. Do better next time, whatever. Why can't quarterbacks do the same thing? Why are quarterbacks so fragile that they can't handle being pulled when they're having a bad outing? Listen, man, you had a bad first 2 innings. We're going to pull you. We're going to bring in the relief pitcher, and you'll get him next time, Tiger. Just do that. And I think Lamar Jackson, if he's going to be the quarterback of the future, if he can't handle being pulled in his rookie season in the biggest playoff game of his career, then he's not your guy. He doesn't have what it takes between the ears to become the franchise player you want him to be.
Okay, I can see where you're going with that. And when you say that there's 53 guys and they're all equal, the quarterback matters, man. The quarterback matters more than any other player on that team.
He matters.
It's just a positional thing where that
is.
position's more important than any other position on the team. So I see where you're going with this. We can agree to disagree.
I will.
I liked them keeping Lamar Jackson in. It was kind of, I mean, there was some heroics at the end, but it was too little too late. I don't know, man. This was a crazy game, but unfortunately, I can't argue with you any longer because we are up against a commercial break.
What if I want to argue more?
You do want to argue more, but you can think about more arguments to argue about while we go to a commercial break.
Hopefully we get the mic back.
Hopefully. Okay, so when we get back, we can talk about this Philly-Chicago game. What a great game. Chicago fans on Twitter right now are really throwing out some love because they said they really need to sign Kareem Hunt because he looks like he can really kick the ball better than anybody else on the Chicago Bears. We'll discuss that when we get back.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. "12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst."
Scout Team listeners and friends of the show, I've got something special for you. It looks like 12-ounce sports radio has done it again. We have partnered with Rally House. You just go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner on the right side of the page, and it will take you directly to Rally House. Rally House has some of the greatest, most unique sports items for that diehard fan, casual fan, and anybody and everybody out there that is special in your life. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to that website, 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner to the right of the page, and you will get taken to the best sports merchandise website on all of the interweb.
Ring Central features all-in-one phone, messaging, and video conferencing. It's easy to use with unparalleled security. Ring Central simplifies things so you can grow. Call Ring Central to speak with a representative about a price for your growing business at 877-779-3860. Again, that's 877-779-3860.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
Welcome back on this beautiful Monday morning. You are listening to Scout Team Sports. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. The Golden Ghost seems to come in and haunt us from time to time here on this live radio show, 6 a.m. every weekday with Scout Team Sports and replay at 11 a.m. on 12-ounce sports radio. If you don't catch the live show, the podcast is always available on scoutteamradio.com. We bring it to you hot and live like we always do. And if you want to interact with us, you can always catch us on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. We have tweets coming in hot live right now. Our good friend, Memphis Spence, friend of the show, tweeting at us, hey, Chris Scout Team, you better pump the brakes a little bit here, buddy. That's what he's saying. You know why he's saying that? Because Chris America does not realize that Lamar Jackson is the reason the Ravens are in the playoffs. You can't just take that away from Lamar. You can't just bench the man. He brought the Ravens to the playoffs. The Ravens looked like they were dead without Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
They looked like Flacco was he was just a shell of his old self. He was just not the same Flacco like he was when he won the Super Bowl. This isn't Joe Flacco of 2013. This is Joe Flacco of today. We need Lamar Jackson.
I can tell you right now, Lamar Jackson was a shell of himself yesterday. He wasn't the Lamar Jackson of 2 weeks ago that was leading them into the playoffs. He was Lamar Jackson, the rookie quarterback. And again, like I said, I don't know if it was just the Chargers defense was light on fire, but we'll never know because we didn't put Joe Flacco in. If you put Joe Flacco in and he does just as bad, then maybe that boosts your boy Lamar Jackson's confidence even more. You can say, hey, buddy, it wasn't you. It was just their defense. Even this Super Bowl MVP, a former Super Bowl MVP, could do nothing with that defense. And then Lamar Jackson goes, thanks, guy. I appreciate you saying that. And then he can get like his high C fruit punch and, his animal crackers, and he's good to go with his confidence.
Oh, okay. There's been times in the past where some of the mainstream media says things like this where it's like, oh, but his confidence, his ego, once you pull him, he'll never have the same confidence. You're right. Sometimes we've got to have a little bit more of that testicular fortitude if you're going to be the starting quarterback for an NFL team. And we can't really say that. We can't really say that as an analyst. Testicular fortitude.
Gotcha.
It's a morning show, Loudbeard. What are you doing?
Golden microphone man, Anthony Mack. Welcome back, my friend.
All I know is, Chris, you talking trash about Lamar, bro?
I'm not talking trash about Lamar. The dude had a bad game. That's not talking trash.
He knew you weren't on. He said this was his opportunity to take it and run.
Bro, you can't talk.
Just like Lamar.
Lamar got him there. I get it. He had a not so great game. Games like that happen in the NFL, college, anywhere. It happens. It's the playoffs. It's his first playoff game. If it wasn't a downfall this week, it would have been a downfall next week. You have to live and learn. It's a learning experience. No, not everyone makes it. How many veteran QBs right now are in the playoffs? What, Tom Brady?
There's a lot.
Just
Philip Rivers,
Wilson,
Drew
Dak
Brees,
Prescott,
Russell Wilson.
Drew Brees,
Philip Rivers,
you can't call Dak.
Andrew
Luck.
Luck.
Can't call Dak.
Dak is like on the low end of that spectrum. But he's been in the league for 4 years now. He's been to the playoffs before. He went toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers.
Nick Foles
and just lost to Nick Foles.
So out of all of those, you got Tom Brady and Andrew Luck for the most part. It's a game where
you have Drew Brees.
Have to live and learn.
You have Nick Foles.
Oh, Drew Brees. Okay, you got Drew
three
Brees.
former Super Bowl champions.
Basically,
in this
everybody but Lamar Jackson.
Well, that's
Patrick Mahomes.
3 out of 8.
Oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes. That guy too. That's it.
So it's 3 out of 8. So it's 3 out of 8.
Well, it's 12. There's 12 teams in the playoffs.
It isn't over.
Are you still on the alien ship? You're still breaking up, man.
Oh my gosh, this is horrible. Just messing with my microphone.
You got to call your cable company, man.
You know what? I suggest using that aluminum foil that you put on your hat and use it for rabbit ears on your Wi-Fi. That might help. Get you a little better.
Do you think that'll work? Do you think that'll work?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Spectrum does suck. Unless they want to sponsor the show, then Spectrum's the best internet provider.
Then Spectrum's the best internet company ever. Yeah.
I feel like if they paid us, we would say that it's just the defense. There's nothing, if Spectrum can't do it, no internet company can do it. And that's what we're saying about Lamar Jackson, right? If Lamar Jackson can't do it, nobody can do it.
Look, Lamar had an off game. Every quarterback has one. Tom Brady's been to how many Super Bowl and won how many?
He's been to 8 and won 5.
Okay, it happens. You're not going to win them all. Lamar Jackson is going to be fine. This is a learning experience. I'm actually glad he had to go through it early. That way, next 2 seasons, we see a better Ravens quarterback out of him. So I'm good. We're gonna be all right. He's gonna be fine. We take stock in the one game out of the whole season. I get it. It's the playoffs. It's the one that
I'm
matters.
not even saying Lamar Jackson's out for good. Hey, man, your pitcher has a bad game. You pull him. You put the relief pitcher in. You move on.
All right, we have a hot take coming in here from the Hefe from Beck's Work Week in Review. I know you're going to want to dissect this one. You're going to want to dissect this one, Golden Ghost. Lamar is like the next Kaepernick. Teams are going to figure out that run game, and eventually he's going to have to become a better passer. What do you think about that, Golden Ghost?
If he has the right offensive coordinator and if he has the right quarterback coach, they won't figure him out. They'll figure him out, but he will last. They figured out Michael Vick too, and he had a very long, successful career. So
yeah, that ain't the only people that figured out Michael Vick.
I'm not going there with you, Chris. Not this morning.
Oh boy.
All right.
Oh boy.
Hey man, he's paid his dues. He's doing great for himself. He lobbed it up. I had to hit it out.
He's offensive coordinator for
that route.
That Atlanta team.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not go that route. But listen, of course, teams are going to figure out. People figured out Tom Brady, but good coaches find a way to elevate their best players. It's going to have to happen to him. RG3 was arguably one of the best quarterbacks was touted as one of the best quarterbacks to come out and be able to run and pass. And people figured him out quick too. He just had a horrible offensive coordinator. Well, that's true. That's true too.
Take him down.
But when he was playing, people figured him out pretty fast. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say he's like Kaepernick. I think he's way better than Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? But, okay, let's just go somebody current. Mahomes. Have they figured out Mahomes the last 4 weeks? Well, I think so. I think defense have figured him out. So we just have to see what happens.
Defenses didn't figure out Mahomes. The difference is between RG3 and Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes is, for now, Patrick Mahomes has shown he can make any throw on the field. And that's what you can figure out a quarterback all you want. If you can make every throw on the field, he's going to eventually make those throws. Will you have a few bad games? Will you be able to slow him down? Yeah, we've seen Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. We've seen all those quarterbacks have good defensive game plans put against them. The tape on Tom Brady is if you get Tom Brady off of his spot, he's not that good of a quarterback. That's true. That's true for a lot of quarterbacks. That's where Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson and back in the day RG3 have to figure out, can he start throwing the football? Can he start making all of the throws that you ask him to make on a consistent basis? I think Lamar Jackson can. I hope that he can because I'm ready for a new guard of quarterbacks, and I want them all to be fun and exciting and running around and making throws on the run as well from the pocket. So I'm rooting for him, and I hope he can, but he's going to have to learn how to make all of the difficult throws.
I know he can. I think in the next 5 years, let's put it out there. In the next 5 years, we'll still be talking about Lamar Jackson being relevant. Yeah. In the next 5 years, I think I'm going to say it. I think he's better than Mahomes in the next 5 years.
No, not going to happen. Whoa,
I don't think so. But hey, you know what? It's easy to make
Mahomes has a peak, man. I'm telling you, and it's going to come really, really quick, man.
If his peak is 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, I'll take 3/4 of that any day.
I hear you. Can he do it every season for the next 4 seasons, 5 seasons?
Again, even if he does,
I don't know.
Even if he does half of that, I mean, not half of 25,000 yards, but half of 50 touchdowns. Don't go 25. Half of 50 touchdowns is still 25 touchdowns. That's about the league average, if not above the league average. So,
all right, gentlemen,
that's still above the league average.
I'm going to cut you off here for a second because we got some hot tweets coming in. One, Ian Sports Takes. Ian, a good listener of the show, good friend. There's a reason the Ravens were in that position. I think some of that comes down to play calling. So putting Lamar in the right position with the right play calls. And then Mike Berlon from Craft Brewed Sports, he says, Lamar showed on that one play in the fourth that he can extend a play and drop a dime when needed. It was a 21-year-old starting his first playoff game. He'll be fine.
Boom.
Back off, Chris America.
Listen,
back off.
I'm telling you, the
Boom.
future is okay with Lamar Jackson. Yesterday, it was not. You put the relief pitcher in when your ace is having a bad day. That's just all I'm saying.
But he battled through, and it made it a closer game, though. It wasn't a blowout like Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? No. He battled through.
Garbage
and made it
touchdowns are
closer.
garbage touchdowns. If everybody's gonna
It's the
trash on Blake,
playoffs.
if you're gonna trash on Blake Bortles for garbage touchdowns, you need to trash on everybody
Blake
for
Bortles.
garbage touchdowns.
All right, so talking about not garbage touchdowns, there was another game that was played this weekend that we haven't even gotten to, and that would be the Bears versus the Eagles, the best game of the weekend. I know we could talk Lamar Jackson for 10 hours straight, but I'm going to move on if you guys don't mind, because we are ready
Let's go.
to talk
Let's
some
do it.
more football, and there's a little bit of magic in the air. Every time Nick Foles goes in on that field in a playoff game, it seems like the Philadelphia Eagles have a little bit of magic sprinkled on that field, and this game did not disappoint. Yeah, it was a little bit of a defensive battle. Both defenses came and showed up, but it came down to one thing, and that would be the kicker. And this game ended in a crazy fashion. What do you guys think of this crazy game? Eagles with the big win, 16-15.
I'm going to say that we asked for Nick Foles weeks ago and kind of got the wish. I'm not an Eagles fan, but I like Nick Foles. I like his story. And I'm glad he got the win. Now, on the flip side, for me, what I saw, he was a little flustered that game. I mean, the Bears defense will make anybody flustered, but he was getting lucky on some passes that he was throwing up. He did not look poised at all. And once again, that could be the Bears defense that was pinning him on edge, but he can't play another game like that.
Are you saying he was giving him the Eli Manning face? The whole Bears defense? He's like faking him out. He's like Eli Manning face.
No, it was just some of his passes just weren't like to me. Some of the passes that were caught and that were thrown was just lucky passes. Like luck gets you somewhere in life, but he can't have another game where he throws off that back foot. You know, he has to put it in there, and because you're getting higher in the playoffs and better defenses. So I just think
better defenses than Chicago.
I mean, they're gonna bring it. It's the playoffs. They're not gonna let you just sit back there and throw off your back foot. Once again, a good defensive coordinator is gonna understand that and find a way to keep doing it and get their cornerbacks ready to read them. Like he wasn't looking off the first receiver. He was throwing off that back foot from what I saw. And I'm pretty sure his offensive coordinator is going to go in there and fix that this week. I mean, you have to, but I'm just saying, like, great cornerbacks, good cornerbacks, they're going to read them all the way. They're going to pick them off. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. They're going up against the Saints. So Ian Sports Takes hitting us up on Twitter. He says they can't beat Breeze and the Saints in the Dome with 15 points in the playoffs. So I agree with that. They got to score more than that.
Hold on, Ian. Didn't your Cowboys beat Breeze in a Dome with 13 points? So it can be done. This Saints offense has been
hot take.
Kind of not the Saints offense that we're used to these last few weeks. Their offense limped into the playoffs, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about how the Saints will be the number 1 overall seed, but it just felt like they were that team limping into the playoffs. Now they've had 2 weeks rest. I don't know if it's been injury, soreness, what it is on that offensive side of the football, but the Eagles defense has honestly surprised me. My boy Donald, he's the biggest Eagles fan I know, and he was trashing on the Eagles defense at the beginning of the season, and now he believes in them 100% these last month or so. The Eagles defense somehow, some way, found a way to just start locking teams down. They're not missing the tackles that they've been missing throughout the season, and that's really been the big difference, that and starting an MVP or a Super Bowl MVP quarterback finally. But I think this is going to be another good game. And can Nick Foles win his 5th playoff game in a row as an underdog?
Not
I
if
believe the
not if
Saints
he,
are going to be the favorite in this one.
Ooh, good question.
the Saints are definitely the favorite. The Saints are favored to win, to go to the Super Bowl. I think it's the Saints and the Chiefs. They're like the favorites to get there. But
Yeah.
the Eagles have a chance because they're not a bad team. A couple of weeks ago we did leave them for dead, but they have a chance. But Nick Foles has to play an excellent game, not a sloppy game. To me, against the Bears, that was a sloppy game. And once again, that could be the Bears defense, but
Yeah.
he can't play a sloppy game against the Saints because Drew Brees is definitely going to put up at least 28 on him. He's going to put 28.
Hot take,
It's in the-
28 points on that Eagles defense.
It's in the playoffs, man, and I like what they're doing. I like Kamara, man. I like Ingram back there. I think he has one of the best supporting casts in football right now, if not the best. So no, I don't think they're gonna hold him at all. So Foles is gonna have to get out there and play his best game.
Well, yeah,
I agree, man.
I agree.
You always got to play your best game in the playoffs, man. You can't take days off in the playoffs. We saw that with Lamar Jackson, but we digress. Going into next weekend, guys. I know it's Monday. I know we're probably going to cover it extensively, but which matchup are you the most excited about?
I want to see the Chargers beat the Patriots is what I want to see. So I'm excited about that. I want to see Phillip Rivers redeem himself for all of those losses in the playoffs he's taken to the Patriots, all of how Tom Brady has dominated the AFC. I want to see old man Phil Rivers finally get his chance, and that's the game I'm looking forward to.
I hope so. I hope so. But Rivers, I don't know. Maybe he's in the corner crying right now because he just never beat him. But that's not the site. I mean, that's going to be probably one of the games one of the best games. But the Cowboys and the Rams, I didn't think the Rams. I don't think the Rams have the juice, but I don't want to see the Cowboys make it. So I'm going to root for the Rams this week. Cowboys, Rams, man.
Let me ask you this then. It's Monday, January 7th. Let's flash forward to next Monday. Who would you rather be talking about in the NFC Championship? Cowboys versus Eagles, NFC East, rivalry, all of that goes into it, or Saints versus Rams, the new guard. Well, I guess Drew Brees isn't kind of the new guard, but like the old guard versus the new guard, the flashy Rams offense versus the flashy Saints offense. Which would you rather see?
I think I want to see Rams Saints.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Eagles sounds intriguing, but I want to see Rams and the Saints.
I don't know. Cowboys Eagles would be intriguing to me. I'm an NFC East guy, so that would be entertainment at its best. And I'd go Eagles over the Cowboys, but a lot of hypotheticals in there, Chris America.
There is. I mean, we could end up with
see the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
We could end up with Saints Cowboys.
No,
we could end up with Eagles Rams. Who knows? But
the Saints and the Cowboys would be a good game because the Cowboys swear the Saints don't want to see them again, and I'm like, no, I don't think you guys want to see the Saints again. So, I mean, that would be a good matchup too. I mean, any way it goes, it'll be a good matchup.
The NFC. As I was watching both of the NFC games, Saturday night and Sunday night, I'm just sitting here thinking about, man, there is not a bad NFC team. This is a tough road to hoe for any team to get through. The Chicago Bears was a really good team this year. That defense was just nasty. And anybody who wants to say, oh, the Bears gave up too much, to get Khalil Mack, and they had an early exit in the playoffs, man. That's not the story coming out of this weekend, man. The story is just the NFC is really, really good.
And the Bears had a really bad kicker. That's another.
Yeah, I'm not going to blame the
double
kicker,
doink.
Man.
You don't want to talk about a double doink?
No, everybody's booing the kicker, but I want to boo Mitchell Trubisky for all the missed wide open receivers he missed. I mean, whether he missed them by throwing them the football or he missed them just didn't see him going through his progressions, man.
He made some clutch throws
he made
down
some
the
clutch
stretch,
throws.
though. Down the stretch, it counted. When he counted.
Hey, that kicker made some clutch extra points.
I mean, he had 303 yards, but it's just something about Trubisky, man. I just don't think he got the juice. I'm sorry. He's just ever since he's came in the league, it's something about the kid.
Okay, so Lamar Jackson's fine the rest of the year, but Mitchell Trubisky, who threw for 300 yards in his playoff game, isn't. Got it. I think both
I've
Lamar
been impressed
Jackson
by
and
Mitch
Trubisky are just fine.
You're putting words in my mouth that shouldn't be there. All I'm saying is, once again, next 5 years, we'll be talking about Lamar Jackson. We'll be talking about Mitch Trubisky.
Yes.
You know?
It's Mitchell.
To me,
he doesn't go by Mitch. He's too cool for that.
Okay, Mitchell. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Rex Grossman on that, like back in the day.
Why? Because he plays on the Bears? And they have a great defense?
They have sort of the same kind of style, I guess. And I was just never a fan of Rex Grossman. And guess what? Look what happened to him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could work either way.
Sexy Rexy, man. Don't be bringing up Sexy Rexy. But
I'm just saying.
But it's we're out of time, man. Big Monday night on the TV screen. I'm gonna be watching maybe like Young Sheldon. The Bachelor comes back. It is live from 8 to 11. America's Got Talent is on. The Resident is on.
Oh, I love
Fox.
AGT.
And then of course, Antique Roadshow, man. Can't miss a single episode.
Must watch
Antique
TV.
Roadshow. Maybe we'll break those things down because nothing else is on TV tonight. But we're out of time, man. It's 6:56. We got to get out of here.
Oh boy, it's the most exciting weekend in Monday
Roadshow, man.
in football. And you guys are talking about Antique Roadshow. What's
Antique
wrong?
Come on, man. Antique Roadshow is the bomb.
Are we really gonna do this?
Like, I need to find out how much Aunt May's brooch is. Did Aunt May lie about how expensive that brooch was? I need to find out.
We're not gonna be talking about Antique Roadshow tomorrow. We're just not. It's not gonna happen.